You won't believe what happened when Barron Trump was publicly mocked at an event, not by some random person, but by a famous actor in front of his entire family. The tension in the room was palpable as the actor's mocking words flew. But what happened next? Barron's response left everyone stunned, even his parents, Donald and Melania. Stay tuned, because this moment will change everything you thought you knew about Barron Trump. The camera pans to a lavish gala hall, illuminated with golden chandeliers, casting a warm glow over an audience of well-dressed elites. Among them, seated at a central table, are Donald and Melania Trump, exuding their characteristic poise and elegance. Barron Trump sits beside them, a quiet yet commanding presence, his tailored suit and calm demeanor a mirror of quiet confidence. The atmosphere is lively, with murmurs and clinking glasses filling the air. The event takes a surprising turn when a renowned comedian steps onto the stage. Known for their sharp wit and controversial humor, they pause, scan the room, and then, with a smirk, direct their attention toward the Trump family. The audience laughs nervously as the comedian's joke targets Barron, the youngest Trump, catching the room. And Barron, off guard. The camera zooms in on Barron's face as he processes the moment, his calm exterior hiding what might be brewing underneath. Meanwhile, Donald and Melania exchange a subtle glance, their expressions unreadable but charged with intensity. The stage is set for a moment no one in the room will forget. The spotlight beams down on the comedian as they begin their set, their tone light and conversational at first. The audience, already captivated by the night's grandeur, leans in, enjoying the humor. But as the jokes progress, the comedian's focus sharpens, and with a mischievous grin, they lock eyes with the Trump family's table. You know, the comedian starts, gesturing toward Barron with exaggerated flair. It must be tough being the quiet one in a family that's never short of headlines. I mean, how do you even get a word in? The crowd chuckles uneasily, a mix of amusement and tension rippling through the room. Barron sits still, his face composed but his eyes revealing a flicker of surprise. Donald leans back slightly in his chair, his expression hardening, while Melania maintains her trademark grace, her gaze steady and protective as it falls on her son. Emboldened by the reaction, the comedian presses further. Barron, you've got to teach us your secret. Staying silent while everyone around you makes noise? That's next-level talent. Laughter erupts, louder this time, though it's tinged with discomfort. The camera catches Barron glancing at his parents briefly before straightening his posture. His calm exterior remains unshaken, but there's a quiet strength in his demeanor, a signal that this moment is far from over. The comedian, oblivious to the brewing tension, continues their act, unaware that they've just set the stage for something far greater than they anticipated. As the mocking words settle in the room, the focus shifts to the Trump family's table. Donald Trump, seated prominently at the head of the table, narrows his eyes, his signature composed yet commanding presence emanating a silent warning. Melania, ever the poised figure, shifts slightly in her chair, her hand subtly resting on Barron's arm in a gesture of quiet support. Barron, however, remains composed. His calm demeanor stands out against the laughter echoing around them. For a moment, it seems as though he might let the comments pass, but then a flicker of determination crosses his face. Melania leans toward him, whispering softly, her expression a mix of reassurance and encouragement. Donald, on the other hand, is less subtle. His sharp gaze locks onto the comedian, and though he doesn't interrupt, the shift in his posture, leaning forward slightly, his hands clasped together, signals that he's fully engaged, ready to step in if needed. The subtle tension radiating from the family is palpable, a stark contrast to the laughter of the audience. Meanwhile, the cameras pan to capture the scene, showing the Trump family as a united front. The moment feels surreal, a mixture of high society glamour and a deeply personal family challenge playing out before a live audience. Melania's protective nature shines through as she exchanges a glance with Donald, her expression seeming to say, "Let's see what Barron does next." The quiet exchange between husband and wife is almost imperceptible, but it speaks volumes about their confidence in their son. As the comedian continues, Barron finally shifts in his seat, his calm demeanor now accompanied by a determined focus. It's clear that the young Trump has decided how to handle the situation, and all eyes, both in the room and watching from afar, are on him. The stage is set for an unforgettable response. As the comedian's mocking remarks trail off, the room remains abuzz with awkward laughter. Barron Trump, sitting calmly at the table with his parents, straightens his posture. His calm, composed demeanor doesn't waver, but his expression changes slightly, a blend of resolve and maturity far beyond his years. He stands, commanding immediate attention from the room. The light shifts slightly, as though even the stage is acknowledging his presence. The audience falls silent, their eyes fixed on the young man who now holds the floor. Barron clears his throat, his voice steady but not loud. "Thank you," he begins, his tone even, with a hint of warmth that surprises everyone. "Thank you for your creativity tonight." A ripple of uneasy chuckles spreads through the crowd, but Barron's slight smile signals he's not here to attack. "I've learned a lot about resilience growing up, and one of those lessons is understanding that humor sometimes comes at a cost," he continues, glancing toward the comedian with a calm, measured gaze. "But when that cost is respect, maybe it's time we all rethink what we're laughing at." The room grows quieter as Barron's words sink in. His confidence shines, and his youth adds a layer of unexpected wisdom to his speech. He shifts his focus to the audience. "I believe in turning moments like these into opportunities. If we can laugh together without tearing each other down, that's the kind of strength this room has, and that's the strength we all need." The sincerity in his tone is unmistakable, and the tension in the air begins to dissipate. Even the comedian, previously so smug, now looks slightly taken aback, his grin faltering as he realizes the weight of Barron's words. Barron ends his response with a small nod toward the comedian. "So, thank you for the lesson tonight," he says, his voice unwavering. "And I hope we can all take something positive from this." The room erupts, not in awkward laughter, but in genuine applause. Melania's proud smile beams as she exchanges a glance with Donald, who nods in silent approval. The energy shifts completely. What began as a mockery has turned into a moment of profound respect. Barron takes his seat again, the applause still echoing in the ballroom. It's clear that his words have left a lasting impression, not just on the audience but on everyone watching. This remarkable young man turned the tide of the evening with grace and wisdom. As the event continues, the impact of Barron Trump's poised response begins to ripple through the room. Guests who were once chuckling at the comedian's jokes now exchange murmurs of admiration. The atmosphere shifts entirely, from one of light-hearted banter to profound respect. Later that evening, conversations in the elegant ballroom are abuzz with reflections on what just transpired. A well-known businesswoman comments to a colleague, "I didn't expect that level of maturity from someone his age. He handled it better than most adults would." Her colleague nods in agreement, recounting how Barron's words struck a chord about the importance of respect and dignity. Even the comedian, who had been the source of the mockery, seems humbled. He approaches Barron during a quieter moment of the evening. With a genuine expression, the comedian offers a handshake and an apology. "I didn't mean for it to go that far," he admits, his tone sincere. Barron, ever gracious, shakes his hand and replies, "It's okay. We all have lessons to learn." By the next morning, the event has become the talk of social media. Clips of Barron's response are shared across platforms, with headlines praising his grace and maturity. Viewers from all walks of life express their admiration, with comments flooding in. "This young man has more composure than most adults." "Barron Trump just taught a room full of people what dignity looks like." Parents share the clip with their children as an example of how to stand up for oneself without resorting to anger or insults. Teachers discuss it in classrooms, turning the moment into a lesson about empathy and respect. The ripple effect doesn't stop there. Prominent figures and organizations voice their support. A renowned public speaker tweets, "Barron Trump's response at the gala was a masterclass in leadership under pressure. We need more young voices like his." Even those who might not typically align with the Trump family admit that Barron's response transcended politics. The moment becomes a rare unifying force, reminding everyone of the power of kindness and integrity. As the week unfolds, Barron's words resonate far beyond the ballroom. His ability to turn a moment of ridicule into one of reflection leaves an enduring mark, proving that even in the face of adversity, dignity and wisdom can inspire change. The evening, which began with mockery and tension, ends with a profound shift. Barron Trump's response, composed, thoughtful, and powerful, becomes more than just a moment of personal triumph. It turns into a defining instance of leadership, proving that character is shaped not by how one is treated, but by how one responds to adversity. In a world where public figures are often torn down with harsh words, Barron's graceful handling of the situation becomes a powerful reminder that respect, even in the most challenging circumstances, remains the most powerful tool at one's disposal. As the gala concludes and the crowd disperses, the story doesn't fade. It lingers, discussed over dinner tables and shared online, becoming a moment that people of all walks of life can point to as a lesson in strength and dignity. For Barron Trump, the night was not just about facing mockery. It was about rising above it with a quiet confidence that spoke louder than any words could. And so, Barron walks away from the event with his head held high, his family by his side, and the world a little more aware of the strength that lies within those who choose grace over confrontation. His response will be remembered for years to come, not as a reaction to mockery, but as an example of how to turn even the most negative experiences into opportunities for personal growth and a deeper understanding of what it means to lead with respect.